Hello, loyal listeners and new followers. Thank you so much for tuning back into a new episode of Bad Millennial, the podcast where I talk about 90s mishaps, woes, cultural happenings, and the like. And this time I really needed to record an emergency episode because so much has been going on, has been going down with Vanderpump Rules, my new TV obsession ever since the Scandoval broke this year in March. So for any of you who have not caught up on all episodes, including last night's episode, you might as well just skip to the end and mark this episode as listened and give me a nice 5 stars because I do not want to spoil anything for you. So for those of you who have been dedicated, obsessed fans like myself, please listen on and get ready for the fire, the heat, the scorn, the oh my god of it all that I just have to share with somebody. And if you want even more Vanderpump Rules craziness and commentary, feel free to follow me on Instagram at Bad Millennial Pod because I have not been able to get enough of it, and also following all of the behind the scenes mess with all of the other podcast accounts and meme accounts, and even following some of the cast from the show on Instagram has just been a blast and a whirlwind. So I am ready and reared up to go and talk about all things Vanderpump Rules for this season. So again, spoiler alert, if you have not caught up on the latest episode, do yourself a favor, skip to the end, rate it 5 stars, review, and go and watch the episodes. All right, that's my final warning for you guys before I jump straight into the mess that is season 10 of Vanderpump Rules. So, of course, you guys know the cast and crew of Vanderpump. We started off with just following around Lisa Vanderpump's employees at her famous restaurant in West Hollywood called Sir, or Seriously Unique Restaurant, or no, it stands for Sexy Unique Restaurant. And so over these past 10 seasons, these cast and crew members have developed some really crazy storylines. The main thing to know about Vanderpump Rules that's really odd and interesting to me is that everyone has cheated on each other with each other. It's like a big, happy, drama prone family that just sleeps around. So everywhere you look, someone was somebody's ex. So that's what makes this whole scandal even more weird, because it's not like we haven't seen these characters cheat on each other before, but the leaps and bounds and dark psychological sociopathic ways that this type of cheating went about was of epic proportions, especially when you think about the people involved. Okay, but before I get ahead of myself, I might as well just give a brief rundown of how I feel about season 10 so far, and then get into the characters and all of that good mess. Okay, so I actually started watching Vanderpump Rules this year when Scandoval broke, and it was such a big to-do that even the New York Times had to be like, okay, what is a Vanderpump? We have to know, and we have to talk about this. So I had never really watched it. I remember hearing about it and watching a snippet when I was watching one of my favorite Housewives shows, Housewives of Beverly Hills. And they back then snuck in a whole episode within Housewives of Beverly Hills. So you think you're watching Housewives, and all of a sudden Vanderpump Rules starts to show up on your TV, and you're like, what is this? So that was Bravo's sneaky way of introducing their new show. I never caught on to it, never really cared to know about a whole new cast of entitled kids who wanted to make it big and be famous in Hollywood. I just wanted to know about real money, That's why I'm a huge Housewives fan. But now that Scandoval has kind of reared its ugly head, I had to go back to season 1 and see like what the hell this was all about, you know? So everyone just started off as so innocent, you know, actors, mactors, you know, male actors, and models, bartenders, like little divas, wannabe singers. Like these were all pretty unknown people who were just trying to make a buck and try to be famous in West Hollywood. So that was what was so endearing about the early seasons of Vanderpump Rules. Everybody was close-knit, friends, you know, poor, struggling, but still managed to live it up and try to attend work on time. So fast forward to season 10, and everyone's like complete different. You know, it was a yawn season in like season 8, when they like slashed half the cast for numerous dramatic reasons. But there was really nothing going on until season 9, you know, when we got new people and a more solidified cast and storylines of who's dating who, whose ex hated who, you know, the Richella of it all. So that really led up to a really interesting season 10. And what I loved about season 10 is that the opening sequence is so cool and dynamic, showcasing the different restaurants that Lisa Vanderpump and her crew have developed over the years and how certain people are tied to or involved with each restaurant. I do want to say I think that Vanderpump is kind of struggling for a storyline at this point, and she could just really sit back as a narrator or a guest at this point, because this cast finally is crazy enough to have storylines that stand on their own after the yawn fest that was season 8 and 9, you know. But every time I see Tom and Tom as the opening shot, I just want to punch both of them in the fucking face. Okay, like, ugh, I can't wait until season 11 comes and they change the whole thing. Or maybe not. Maybe they'll just keep Tom and Tom as the first shot just to get all of our bloods boiling and the temperature rising before every episode. I mean, I know that it glues us to our seats every Wednesday, so why not mess with the fans? Okay, so I have to get into the main girl who's been with us since season 1, Sheena Shea, the ultimate pick-me girl. I mean, what's even more annoying is that she's the pick-me girl that gets annoyed being called out as a pick-me girl by non-pick-me's, aka Katie Maloney. You know, Sheena's always wanted to be the hero of her own story, but season after season, she's always just been pathetic and just particularly terrible and hard to watch, especially in season 9 when she was just boy crazy and making every single server her new boy toy and saying, oh, I don't want a relationship, I don't want a boyfriend, after going through her divorce, only to just go around and do the opposite and try to force everyone to date her. Sheena is a known people pleaser, but also a known liar, mostly about herself and her own train wreck of a life. And she just loves to paint a pretty picture and force rose-colored glasses on everybody when it comes to looking at her life, and all of her quote-unquote best friends who she treats as boyfriends, you know. She just keeps wanting to turn all of her hookups into husbands. And it's really annoying. It's a whole lot of playing victim and the villain at the same time. And, you know, I'm really glad that she eventually found the Aussie guy with his own problems, but it seems good for her. So maybe she'll get out of everyone else's hair now that she's finally married and has had her second TV wedding. Maybe, you know, all of her dreams have come true. Except that she decides that she's going to turn her own minion into her new best friend, Raquel, or as I'm going to call her by her legal name, Rachel. For some reason, Sheena has gotten super close to Rachel and wants to turn this girl into her loyal minion. I mean, you saw it in the episode where they were at Sheena's bridal party, and she was supposedly joking when she told Raquel or Rachel to go tell Katie that she couldn't hang out around the preferred areas because she wasn't part of the wedding party anymore. And so Rachel literally goes on this quest to Katie to, I don't know, prove her loyalty to Sheena or something and tell her, hey, you can't go to the preferred spots, especially like the pool when we're there, because Sheena says that you're not part of the bridal party anymore. Which, like, total joke. You can't tell people, especially Katie freaking Maloney, where she can and cannot be. Okay, she paid for this vacation. She paid for this trip. She flew to Mexico. Fuck Sheena. Fuck Raquel. Katie can do whatever she wants. So the whole follower and pick me thread line definitely makes sense how Sheena and Rachel were able to connect. And I thought that, it was just going to stay there, that pathetic. Like, Rachel was just under Sheena's thumb because, she needed someone else to boss her around. James Kennedy doesn't give a fuck about her anymore. So why not get attached to Sheena, who seems like her longevity on the show is basically solid in stone. But we can't underestimate the empty-headed girls who we think are just, pawns in the scheme. Because Rachel, she's still empty-headed, but actually more unhinged than we thought, with how she makes all these problems for herself and doesn't care how anyone else feels from her actions. I don't even think Rachel cares how she feels from her actions. All of that time numbing herself and her feelings and emotions and thoughts while she was with James Kennedy really worked out for her in the end, because now in season 10, she is letting loose. Like, their trip to Vegas was dark and very creepy, especially with her drunk self revealing the truth about it's good that you don't have a man around me when she talked to Lala, which was freaking freaky. And that's when you saw Raquel turn into the real Rachel, And even with Rachel kissing Tom after extensively discussing with Katie beforehand why it would be a bad, hurtful thing, and doing it anyway, that was so insane. Oh, I mean, I thought that was how far I was going to go, but no, of course not. In her interviews, you could really see that she thought that this was going to be her Superwoman season. Like, she's finally single, she's standing up for herself, she has a voice and opinion, and oh man, learning about all the things that actually were happening behind the scenes in real time while watching this past episode, it's just so cringy to watch, knowing actually what happened behind all these lies. I mean, and how do you even keep up with all these lies? Like, oh my gosh, Scandoval must have written them all down for her, because I wouldn't have been able to keep track of all the lies that Rachel was saying. Anyway, so with her, little interviews saying how these are her forever friends, psychotic. Okay? That's all I can say. Like, she has no emotional connection to any of her actions. Poor Ariana is going through so much loss with her dog and her grandma in the same year. But Rachel has separated her good best friend Raquel personality from the evil fucking bitch Rachel personality. And she seems to think that she can remain friends with basically the wife of the man that she's secretly been fucking for 6 months. Like, wow, how do you... And then her, her whole reason about why she thinks that she is a changed woman and, is growing and can do whatever she wants. She kind of says that she's aged out of pageants and she doesn't have to worry about her reputation anymore. Well, goddamn. Girl, you didn't have to burn everything down and scorch the earth along with your crowns and, pageant gowns. Like, seriously? No emotional connection at all. And honestly, Rachel would have been a great member of the Manson family. kind of crazy that she didn't even know who Manson was a couple episodes ago, but Raquel is just blind and just goes and does whatever she wants. Predictably, Sandoval is egging her on behind the scenes, and in front of Ariana, his girlfriend, to kiss Schwartz and try to belittle James. And I feel like Sandoval in the beginning really just tried to push Rachel to do whatever. And now that Rachel is kind of growing into her own and being independent, I think her messing around with Schwartz a little bit more was kind of like her dig at Sandoval, like, well, I'm still single, so I can do whatever I want. Like, this should bother you and blah, blah, blah. But honestly, I feel like Lala nailed it on the head. Like, there's nothing connected up there. She is a dumbass demon. It is like having a conversation with the pig. You're not going to get anywhere. I feel so bad for Katie and extremely, especially bad for Ariana with how blindsided she was. I mean, this whole season, they were all just lying to her face and pretending that everything was okay. Ariana, I would have major trust issues until the end of time after what this cast has put her through. Like, honestly, I don't even know if I could trust the other people on the cast after dealing with the evilness that is Rachel and Sandoval. Getting on to... I don't even want to get started on Sandoval, but no, I'll start. So I never, ever, ever want to hear the words dip out, dipped out, or dude ever, ever again. Tom Sandoval is psychotic and sociopathic and has been since the day he decided to get on the show. Like, at first I thought it was crazy that he opened up Tom by using his mother, God bless his mother, retired firefighter mother, her retirement savings to open up Tom. No. I just saw the psychopathy way back in season 1 when he was dating freaking Kristen, but cheating on her behind her back. I mean, they were both cheating on each other, but the fact that they both were doing it for so long and still were trying to be together, but gaslighting each other simultaneously at the same time, I knew there was something wrong. I knew there was something wrong and crazy with him. But, with Stassi and Jax just being such big personalities, that kind of obscured any red flags that we really got from Tom Sandoval. And then the next thing of everyone who's Sandoval's friend is basically his puppet. I mean, God, his hand is so far up Tom Schwartz's ass. It's almost unrecognizable how they can function apart from each other. I mean, the fact that Schwartz, he can't even stand up for himself, let alone for his freaking wife. That's just terrible. I have no sympathy for Schwartz. But the fact is, Sandoval doesn't make friends. He makes followers. If Rachel could have been a great Manson family member, Sandoval has the makings of a great Manson. Like, he does not care about anyone but himself. He's happy to argue and fight with women, men alike. His opinion always has to be heard first, clearest, and loudest. He needs the very last word, and everything has to be about him. You have to agree with him no matter what. That's why him and Katie are always fighting, and there's never any resolution because Katie's a strong, minded woman who knows herself, knows her truth, and is going to stand up for what's right. Even when she was arguing with Sandoval, a lot of times, she was standing up for her husband, Tom Schwartz. Sandoval doesn't care about anyone, not even his BFF, Tom Schwartz. He will literally step over him and on top of him to get to what he wants. That was obvious when Tom was going through its mess and taking forever to open. And what does Tom Sandoval decide to do? Oh, let's go start a cover band and pay people to be his friends so he can play his little trumpet and be the lead singer of a band that only does cover songs. Yeah, that makes sense. When your freaking mom's retirement money and your best friend's house and mortgage are on the line and loans are on the line to open up this stupid restaurant that's not even a unique concept and that's literally stuck in the middle of a strip mall. Tom Sandoval literally thinks that he's God and the world revolves around him. And that's why you see him calling the paparazzi and TMZ on himself, because for him, any news is good news. Even bad news makes him smile. Like, I almost forgot the Howie Mandel debacle interview of it all. Like, did you guys know that Sandoval had an agreement with Howie that, he was going to control the narrative. He was going to get editing control of the episode. Howie banned and forbid his daughter, who's a huge Vanderpump Rules fan and had like pages and pages of questions for him. Howie banned his daughter from asking him those questions, in fear of like making Tom look bad. Like he just wanted an open forum, but really Howie just wanted to kiss some ass and become part of the conversation, even though Howie knew nothing about this whole conversation. And it was such a train wreck. Tom's an obvious liar, narcissistic sociopath, and it was just a really upsetting interview. But, all we can do is be patient and let Tom keep digging his own grave, because it's just keeps getting deeper and deeper, and everyone who was with Sandoval is just joining in. So that leads me to the next Tom, Schwartz, the despicable, manipulative person who psychologically and emotionally abused and gaslit Katie Maloney, all while trying to keep up this poor me, I don't know what I'm doing, I'm going to get kicked like I'm like a little puppy dog act. Tom Schwartz is a coward, always has been a coward, and always will be a coward. I'm so proud of Katie Maloney for kicking his ass to the curb and standing up for herself, because Schwartz would never take her side. Schwartz would always blame Katie for her thoughts and opinions and being wrong. Like, no matter who was against Katie, Schwartz was going to be for whoever was against Katie. He was never on his wife's team, even while they were just girlfriend and boyfriend. He was never for Katie. And Katie even said in some of her interviews, he might have loved me at one point, but he never liked me. That was absolutely true. And I feel so bad that she had to suffer in that 12-year-long relationship of forcing somebody to actually like her, stick up for her, and be an equal partner and everything. Don't fall for Tom Schwartz's, poor me, dumbass act. He's a coward, but he's also manipulative and despicable. And I know for a fact that he knew about Sandoval when he kissed Raquel, and he decided to cover up for his friend instead of caring about his ex-wife's feelings and kissing someone within the friend group and rubbing in his ex-wife's face, because he is that despicable, manipulative abuser and gaslighter. And every scene where he's trying to hide or be a peacemaker or cry, don't believe it. Schwartz is an idiot, but he's an idiot with a motive, and Sandoval's always up his butt. So Schwartz is a pathetic character, and I honestly wish that he would get kicked off the show, because if they have to keep one crazy, scandalous character, it'll probably be Scandoval. Schwartz can go back to being a friend of or something. It's not like he ever really brought anything to cast. He couldn't even bartend at Sir for a full shift before he had a breakdown and fell apart. I'm really done and sick of Schwartz. He's not innocent. I'm not falling for his innocent act. He's a piece of shit, and he needs to get fired. So, finally, not finally, there's so many characters that I could go over. I know I haven't even really talked about Katie, but Katie is our queen. Katie is everything. Katie, unfortunately, was stuck and dating Tom Schwartz for 12 years before they got married, and then she asked for a divorce because of all times he just never stuck up for her. And so I'm really proud of Katie for being strong and going after what she wants and really coming into her own this year, especially with the sandwich shop, Something About Her, that's supposedly supposed to open up later this year, that she's running with Ariana. I'm just happy to like see another woman-owned business like really starting to take shape, and seeing all of the like things that they do that are opposite of what Tom and Tom did for their restaurant, like actually asking for professional advice, using rich people's money for investments, and not like draining their own bank accounts or, you know, parents' retirement accounts dry. Like, women are everything. Like Lisa says, if you want somebody to say something, ask a man. But if you want somebody to get something done, ask a woman. Like, these women are getting it done. Like, even though it's a sandwich shop, which is like the most randomest thing, because they're so popular and famous, I think it's going to thrive. And who knows, maybe there'll be like a little successful Starbucks in the Hollywood Hills. Like, I'm proud of them. Like, all for women-owned businesses and woman power. So, Katie, keep doing what you're doing. Loving your appearances in the clubhouse with Andy. And yeah, a fully activated Katie is really good TV. Whether it's Tequila Katie or Seeing Red Katie, like, she's going to call you out and she takes no prisoners. So she's the winner of the season, honestly. And she sees people for who they are. Like, she saw how crazy and evil Raquel was a mile away before everyone else. Like, Katie knows shit. She is clairvoyant, and she's the best friend that everybody should have, but is too naive and dumb to listen to. So, Katie's winning. It's Katie's season. Last two, Lala. Like, shout out to Lala for calling it out like it is. Every time Lala speaks, I swear she has like a catchphrase, but she also really does see what's going on. Like, she's like a really stupid demon, Raquel, all the way. Talking to Ariana, saying last time Sandoval talked about a woman the way he's talking about Raquel was when he talked about Ariana while he was with Kristen Doty. Ooh, chills. What a callback. And she's so right. Like, Lala is so shrewd. When you look up the definition of women's intuition, Lala's face is right there. Shout out to Lala. Like, she's amazing. I wish her all the best. I wish her well. And I'm going to start looking into her podcast and see what she has to say, because every time she does an interview or a scene, she pulls out all the hits. Like, she doesn't stop. Like, from calling out Raquel as the actual mistress from last season when she got with Garcelle's son, who really just got in the crossfire. Unfortunately, like, Oliver did not need to be caught in the Vanderpump Rules chaos like that, and then also go to the wrong side. Whatever. But yeah, Lala, again, she calls out like it is, and yeah, she's super smart, and I love her relationship with the girls and how she gets along with and kind of brings out the best in James. So that's everything. Quick shout out to James for getting out of Raquel's freaking vagina, and even though he's jumping right into another one with his little girlfriend Allie, at least Allie seems like she has something going on up there, and she has brains and smarts, and she stands up for herself. And she's also like, when James has a meltdown, she's like, you are making a scene for yourself. Like, you're making yourself look stupid. Like, what you do has nothing to do with me and does not reflect poorly on me. So get your act together, get therapy like a real man, and grow up. So shout out to Allie, and shout out to James's crazy clubhouse appearances with Andy. Like, I swear he's on every drug, but he is amazing, and such great clickbait and so many awesome catchphrases. Like, James Kennedy is a boss. Like, surprisingly, did not see this coming from seasons past, but yeah, he just needs to stop drinking and then he'll be perfect. And finally, Ariana, it just breaks my heart, especially in this season when like Ariana talks about how much she trusts Raquel and she trusts Tom Sandoval, her boyfriend, so much, and how that's one of her closest friends. So she'd think, that nothing was ever going on. But Ariana also kind of gaslighted herself by ignoring all these red flags, like with Sandoval and Raquel wanting to, and she just wanted to be the cool, unbothered girlfriend, like Ariana didn't care that Tom was out at the Abbey at 2 a.m. with only Raquel. Like, she's like, oh, he's an adult, he can take care of himself. I probably was just like not into it. Ariana was too chill, and she kind of let Raquel infiltrate and ruin her life. And I mean, Raquel is creepy as fuck, but like Ariana, I wish that she had kind of just been a little bit more aware and less trusting. I think that because her and Tom had been together almost 10 years, there's that sort of like complacency and comfort. Like, your man's gonna come back to you. Like, even if, well, I don't believe Sandoval for a minute, but even if what he said was true about them growing apart and not really being intimate or anything, like, still, you guys have a huge brand and a huge reputation. Like, why would she? But again, Sandoval doesn't give a shit about anybody but himself. So he doesn't see how what he does can reflect poorly on Ariana. Like, I just feel so bad about Ariana. And then Raquel thinking that this was really her growth season. Like, Raquel really just wanted to be Ariana. Creepy as fuck. Oh, and then also, out of all of this, I cannot believe all the signs. Like, I'm freaking out every time I see the damn lightning bolt, which I almost forgot about. And seeing it in that episode and seeing Raquel actually buy a lightning bolt gold necklace for $700. Because apparently this lightning bolt jewelry signifies that their love for each other, Raquel and Tom Sandoval. So whenever they wear them in a scene, that means that they're telling each other they love each other and that they're thinking about each other. Like, gag. But so gross. I cannot. I wish the best for Ariana. It seems very obvious that Sandoval was trying to set up all these conversations to make Ariana look bad and disconnected as a partner. Starting with his conversation with Schwartz at this like food truck, saying how they don't really see each other and it's all fizzled out, to his random conversations with Ariana, trying to like stir up some feelings of discontent or something, and just really proving the opposite, because Ariana just keeps expressing her love for him and, giving pretty reasonable reasons like why they haven't been as connected. Like, he goes out peacocking with his friends and then comes back and Ariana just gets the leftovers. Like, she's not attracted to that. She's not attracted to someone who she doesn't spend time with or feels like is a stranger to her in her own home. Like, I get that. So all these things that Sandoval's trying to paper over with lies, and Howie Mandel's interview and everything, and his TMZ paparazzi outbursts and interviews, totally planned, by the way, it's all falling apart. It's all very see-through. Tom Sandoval is see-through, okay? So every time Sandoval like makes a comment and tries to build this narrative for himself, along with Schwartz's help, Schwartz was in on everything, I'm convinced. Like, it only makes Ariana look that much better and innocent, and Ariana deserves to win at everything, and she deserves everything that she's getting in life. So shout out to her. And I loved that she was invited to Washington, D.C. For the correspondence dinner with the jokes and like the fact that Vanderpump Rules and that dude from Vanderpump Rules who got caught up and everything was mentioned. And oh my gosh, like, they got the shot of Ariana, like her hand over her face, gasping or laughing, whichever. And Ariana, Lala, and Lisa looked amazing. Like, Beverly Hills can take over DC anytime. I absolutely loves that. So everything looks like it's going to look up for Ariana, especially with all of her partnerships. It seems like in a recent ad that Scandoval finally moved out of the house, or at least moved out so Ariana could film around the house. But yeah, shout out to Ariana and her new boo. Not that she needs a man, but I'm just happy that she seems like she's moving on and that she has a lot of support and everybody's on the right team. You know, if you're not team Ariana, then what are you doing? I mean, I guess you could be team Katie too, since she was like the one who saw everything for what it was and was on the right side in the first place. But, you know, I know that there are all those Katie haters out there, so we'll just root for the queen on our own time. Speaking of Katie, though, you know, I totally understand why her request to Schwartz was made, because, like, I know she's not trying to give another ultimatum, but feelings don't end when relationships do. You know, asking Schwartz to just do this one minor thing, to not hook up with anyone in their immediate friend group who they film with every single day, was pretty damn reasonable. She didn't, like, ban him from fucking ever with his non-functional dick. Like, she just don't rub it in my face. Just don't date or kiss anybody that we know that we have to film with and see and that you're going to use for a storyline. Like, just don't do that, you know? But again, as we all know, Schwartz only cares about Schwartz and most of all Sandoval. So he never liked Katie, always chose Sandoval over Katie, no matter what truth bombs Katie dropped about him. So to choose anyone over your wife time and time again is just a betrayal in itself. So he's always going to be against Katie no matter what, even being on freaking Brock's side for things. And you only need Brock for like 2 seconds. And for those of you who don't know who Brock is, he's not important, but he married Sheena. So again, I hope Katie is living her best life. I see that she's not with the mop-haired puppy of a man, like, who's named after a purse, but she seems happy, and she's getting those Clubhouse interviews with Andy on the regular basis now, so I'm all about it. Quick shout out to Charlie and Allie for remaining objective, calling out folks on their actual shit, regardless of their relationships and convos with Rachel and James. And that's all I'll say about those two. But yeah, great addition to the cast. And I just, like, again, I have to keep giving shout outs to James because his glow up is everything. And just some of his catchphrases and interviews, like talking about the proposal and fake Coachella event that he created with Sandoval for Raquel when they were getting engaged. Like, it was an epic proposal that was wasted on you. Like, all facts. And then the drink throw into Tom Schwartz's face. Amazing. I mean, I think this was all season 9, but still, like, memorable. Like, perfect peak James Kennedy. I mean, oh gosh. And then, like, every time I go on Instagram, it seems like there's just even more scandals, more things that happen in real time. Like, Scandoval, I mean, you know, Tom Sandoval, like, his cover band isn't even selling out tickets anymore, so they had to sell 2 for 1. And then he posts on his stories that no, his shows are sold out, but he turned off his comments, so nobody could comment. And then Rachel's at a mental health retreat, and says that her account was hacked, and that's why the only story that was left up as a highlight was when Tom dressed up as her for Halloween. And turns out she's actually just at a really expensive wellness retreat, and Tom was there with her. Like, it's a whole thing. And Sandoval, during a recent gig, he, like, laughed off this whole scandal in one of his songs, replacing the words and singing, "Schwartzy, can't you see, Raquel is not for me." Like, this man just gets off ruining someone's wannabe victory season, only like ruining all his relationships, making you a sidekick, only to laugh it off in a crappy song by a crummy band that can't even fill up a high school auditorium. The gall. And the fact that Raquel was like to TMZ, like, oh, we're good friends and we have feelings for each other, and her statement says she really cares about Tom a lot, but she'll be taking a step back. She's not taking a step back. She's taking a vacation. She's trying to find someone who will represent her. She's trying to throw all of these like smoke bombs everywhere. Oh, I'll give a restraining order against Sheena. I'll make up this story about this person, and I'll blame this hack on this thing, and da da da. Like, meanwhile, that her psychopath crazy self is wearing that lightning bolt necklace and all of his Tom merch every single day, and hang out with Tom when they think the cameras and the paparazzi aren't around, because she, again, has no sense of self. She hasn't grown or learned anything since her relationship with James Kennedy. And even though she's, finally speaking up and having longer interview segments, like, she really has nothing going on for her. And it's just crazy how far she has fallen from wanting to be a role model and a pageant queen and a representation for women and young girls to this side chick hoe train wreck of a mess that she has created for herself. Like, she's not a victim, and I don't feel sorry for her at all. She knew what she was doing. She got into this, and the psychopathic dark thing of it all is being friends with the girlfriend of the guy you're fucking. Like, how do you... And then you talk about their sex life with her, like asking if they are still intimate, and like if she's still interested in him, and if you were, then you would have, a sex life, and like, it's just so dark. It's so dark. Again, Ariana and Tom were together for almost 10 years. She was freezing her eggs for him, and she even went to have kids. It's like so crazy and wild. Like, I can't even believe like half the shit that's happening. But oh man, Scandoval. This is why it has taken the world by storm. This is why I have watched every single episode from episode 1 since this broke in March to now, season 10, to getting into all these fandoms, to understanding why Stassi was such a huge thing, and why Kristen is such a huge gift, as crazy and psycho as she is. I'm very excited to see Kristen Doty return for the finale next week with her little evil, are you ready for this thing? Like, I hope she lights Tom Sandoval's ass on fire. Oh, and take Raquel down too while you're at it. Like, she's an easy target and she'll get in the way, but take her down. I couldn't deal with her smiling at Lisa's like teary toast in the last episode, saying how, you guys all have problems and stuff, but as you get older, you're going to be able to figure out how to solve them. Like, Raquel has no idea what she's into, and Sandoval is just hopeless, and I hope that no one attends the shows and we all ignore him and Tom goes into foreclosure. Like, that would be that would be the best karma out of all of this, So, and there you have it. That is my final thoughts on Scandoval, the scandal that just keeps on giving. Oh my gosh, did I even cover everything? Like, I feel like as I'm recording this, more things are breaking and happening, but that's really the gist of everything so far. I know that the Witches of WeHo wine with Katie and Kristen recently released a new bottle, so maybe that's coming back. I know Stassi's on her book tour and she's pregnant with her second baby. Jax and Brittany are somehow still together and the longest surviving couple, even though they've had basically the same issues with cheating as Sandoval and Ariana have had, but for some reason they've lasted the longest. And the fact that they got a little spin-off to like watch the episodes of Vanderpump Rules of this season and react is pretty cool. But I have no wishes for them to ever return. back to the show. Who else am I missing? Looks like Stassi hasn't killed her husband Bo yet, because Bo was amazing and could deal with her craziness. And Sheena's tamed all of her boyfriends. Yeah, I think. Oh, the fun tidbit of Ken Todd, like, being wound up by Lisa to wake up enough to deliver that one line. Like, can you believe Sandoval had Raquel over their house while Ariana was away? That was beautiful. Well done, Lisa. Just wind your husband up, give him the goss, and point him in the right direction. Like, he's a great plot device, and that was really funny. Really great editing and storytelling in the kitchen by the writers and Lala and everything. Like, that was great. But yeah, Scandoval has so many little gems and things. Like, they actually make me want to see a never before seen episode on there, you know, the behind the scenes stuff that they haven't aired. Like, I might actually watch one of those if I'm bored enough. But yeah, again, that's Scandoval, the scandal that keeps on giving. Thanks for letting me get all of this out, guys, because I've just been burning wanting to talk about this. And there's been so much to just absorb. And every day, I swear, I'm sending a meme or a tweet or something to somebody, a story talking about this every day, because there's just something new and crazy and insane. Oh, wow. Yeah, so I'm a Vanderpump Rules fan. Even thinking about going to one of the restaurants, not Tom Tom, but yeah, maybe one day I'll go see what's up. Yeah, definitely something about her sandwich shop. Once they open, I must try a Greek goddess sandwich for the first time. Man, cannot wait for the season finale and all of the interviews that they had after wrapping, as well as the live interview they're going to have with Ariana in the clubhouse with Andy. I hope it's just a one-on-one. We don't need a guest there. Like, let Ariana have her piece, her space, and let her say whatever she needs to say. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited for next week, y'all. Like, tweet me, Instagram DM me, let me know what you think about Vanderpump Rules, the Scandoval of it all, and what you think is going to be in store for season 11, because I have no idea. Like, do you think we're going to keep all the same members, or is there going to be a shakeup? Is someone going to leave? Is Kristen Doty going to be a permanent fixture again? Like, is Raquel over? I know Raquel and Tom Sandoval are big draws for eyes now, so like, I couldn't see Bravo firing them, but maybe one of them would have, like, a sane point of view and decide to just drop out. I could never see Sandoval dropping out, though, because he's such a narcissist and, you know, he's just so into himself. He probably gets so hard just seeing himself on screen and being talked about every day. Like, there's no way he would stop filming unless he was fired. So as long as he doesn't make the mistake Jax made and says that this is my show, then Sandoval should be fine. But yeah, what do you guys think? Like, what are going to be the shakeups for next season? Is everyone going to be able to survive this? I mean, this cast has been through a lot of things and scandals, and they all come out loving each other again just to start the whole chaos over again. But this one just seems like a lot of bonds and trusts were broken this season. Yeah, maybe I'll post that as a poll question or in my stories. So yeah, oh my gosh, I'm so excited for next season. I'm so excited for the finale and the reunion. Honestly, like, there's just so much Bravo is going to give us, and then I'll be even more excited for next season, but that'll be a while yet. So yeah, thanks for listening about the Scandoval of it all. And that's going to wrap up our episode, guys. Thanks so much for tuning in. Thanks for tuning in to this week's episode of Bad Millennial. If you like this episode, make sure to leave a rating and a review and subscribe so you never miss an episode. You can also support this podcast by giving a donation via Spotify. Head to the link in the show notes to give. Thank you so much for supporting the making of this podcast. Got a question you want me to answer in the future? Leave a voice message on Spotify, DM, and follow me at Bad Millennial Pod on Instagram, and tweet me on Twitter at _Bad Millennial_ for even more relatable millennial content.